I bet you already know that the Romanian deadlift is a fantastic hamstring and glute exercise. Are you really executing it in the most effective manner possible? This video is going to be very useful for you if you find that you can't really feel your hamstrings and your glutes and your lower back gets very stiff whenever you do deadlifts. Most people are making two critical mistakes. In this video, I'm going to cover each one of those, and make sure to stay till the end and I'll give you a more advanced third tip to really bring this exercise to life for you. The essence of the Romanian deadlift is to load the hamstrings and the glutes to a very, very high degree. And one of the biggest reasons why that might not be happening, that you're not really able to load the hamstrings and the glutes, is that your rib cage is in the wrong position. So it's very common for people to grab the bar, you're gonna arch your back like this, and then you're going to start moving your hips back like that. And that just feels like crap, to be honest with you. You're really compressing this part of your back here. So of course you're going to feel mostly your back because you've just loaded it to a very, very high degree. So you need to learn how to get your ribs down and then how to maintain the ribs down while you're doing the Romanian deadlift. And the most effective way to learn this rib cage positioning is to just jump on the ground and do a quick breathing exercise so that you understand what I'm talking about, and then we can come back and apply it during the deadlift. So we're gonna get on the ground, and it's very important that you bend your knees and you bring your feet a little bit close to your butt, and you've got the whole bottom of the foot on the ground. That's really, really important. Then I want you to try to drag your heels closer towards your butt. So it's a little bit like a hamstring curl without actually moving the feet. So you should feel the hamstrings a little bit. And then I want you to just really pull the tailbone underneath you, just like that, just a tiny little bit. So you should feel that your lower back is already a little bit flatter on the ground. So you should not be able to put your hand behind your back like this. This is what we're trying to fix. You're deadlifting in this position, whereas I need you to get into this position. You're going to tuck that tail underneath you. Then I want you to put your hands on both sides on your rib cage, right here, where you can feel the bony part of the rib cage. You're going to inhale through the nose, and then you're going to exhale through the mouth. You should feel your lower back more in contact with the ground. You should feel like your ribs have just closed. Then you're going to inhale through the nose. And your goal is to inhale without letting that happen. So again, exhale. So you exhale all the air out, get the ribs down, and now your job is to keep the ribs down with your abs. So it almost feels like you're inhaling against your abs. And it can be helpful to hold your hands here, and you can feel how the ribs are closing on the exhalation, and then you want to keep the ribs down on the inhale. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You're going to grab the bar, you're going to get nice and tall through the sternum, and then you're going to exhale one time. So you got the ribs down now. Now, if you exhale too much, you might have gone here. So now your sternum is facing down to the ground. So your sternum needs to face forward, and you're going to exhale, get the lungs empty, and now you're just going to hold on to the ribs, keep them down. And you should be able to breathe, and you should be able to keep the ribs down. So don't hold your breath during this exercise. So now that we got the ribs down, now we're just going to send the hips back. And we're going to keep the ribs down on the way up as we extend the hips. So it might be helpful to use your hands here for cueing you. Get the ribs down and then hold on to this feeling right here. If you can still feel this, there's a high chance that you haven't done this. Now the second mistake that's kind of related to the first mistake is that once you've got your hips back, now it's very common to see people coming up like that, and they're now like really compressing the backside of the body on the way up. Instead, you want to actually use your hips driving yourself up. So you don't want to use your back, but all hamstrings and glutes on the way up. Once again, I've got another exercise for you that's going to teach it to you, and then we can come back to the deadlift and apply it, and it's going to make a ton more sense. So this exercise will teach you how to extend your hips using your hamstrings and your glutes as opposed to extending your back. So the first step is to put yourself into a position where your hips are about 90 degrees and the knees are at about 90 degrees. You're going to put your head on the ground, hands on the ground. You're going to pull your toes up towards your shins, and then you're going to dig your heels down into the bench. So you're doing like a little bit of like a hamstring curl into the bench. So that should already bring your hamstrings to life. Then I want you to keep those hamstrings on, and I want you to think, where are my back pockets? Can you pull your back pockets down towards the back of the knees? So initially, your waistband of your shorts should still be on the ground, but your butt cheeks have actually come off the ground. Then I want you to start lifting the hips higher towards the sky, but you're only doing so by tucking that tail underneath you more and more and more. So you're just pulling the back pockets down towards the backs of the knees, and your hamstrings are becoming shorter and shorter and shorter, and you might even start feeling your glutes at some point. And then you're going to control it back down. And if you're doing this properly, you should feel a ton of hamstrings when you do this drill. So bring the hips down, but don't let that happen. So you're going to keep the control of your pelvis position, and then you're just going to extend the hips again. You might do like 6 to 8 repetitions here, really drilling it in. Am I extending the hips, or am I just like lifting the hips up as a unit? So this is wrong. This is what I want you to be doing. So now we're going to put those two things together. We're going to get nice and tall. You're going to exhale. Now you've got the ribs down. Now you're going to keep the ribs down, and you're going to hinge all the way till you can feel your hamstrings and your glutes are fully loaded. Then you're going to be again pulling your back pockets down towards the back of the knees, and you're going to push the ground away to stand up. So now you should be here, and that hasn't happened. So now your ribs just stay in the right place. Boom. Let's do it with the barbell. Get tall, exhale, keep the ribs down, hinge all the way, stand tall, hinge all the way, drive the hips forward. And that brings us to the final and the advanced tip that I'm going to give you guys in this video. So you're going to get nice and tall, ribs down. Then as you hinge, I want you to really find the inside edge of your foot. So I want you to be really focusing on the big toe knuckle right here. So don't let me slide my credit card underneath your big toe knuckle. So it's a common mistake that the body weight shifts to the outside edge of the feet, and the inside edge of the foot like almost comes off the ground a little bit. So if you can really like glue the inside edge of your foot down and then keep it down as you're coming back up, it's really going to bring these things to life. You're really going to be feeling your hamstrings to a much higher degree. So now you know how to execute your Romanian deadlifts perfectly. So now whether or not you're going to build impressive hamstrings and glutes, it's going to come down to your programming. Are you applying proper progressive overload? Are you using not only Romanian deadlift but other exercises that are also going to be very important to develop your hamstrings and your glutes optimally? If you're looking for a program like that, go to coachpeter.com/app and get your free week on the Coach Peter training app today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.